and thanks to all of you for joining us today. My name is Stephen Sandher, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Associated General Contractors of America.
This is Ken Simonson, Chief Economist for AGC.
Michael Fagan, I'm a Managing Director with Navigant, and I work in their construction practice.
Today we are releasing those survey results and our analysis, which we call the 2011 Construction Hiring and Business Outlook. And while there are some promising and positive signs in the outlook, the bottom line is 2011 will not be an easy year for most firms. However, it appears that it may be better than last year. Indeed, if current trends continue, the construction industry will be in a much better position 12 months from now than it is today.
What we really like about the AGC study is it actually reaches out to the construction industry and asks them what they think.
Compared to last year, when 55% of firms laid off staff and only 20% of firms added employees, the outlook is more positive for 2011. 27% of construction firms report they plan to add staff in 2011, while only 20% plan layoffs.
I think what we saw in the survey supports those of us who are in the industry all the time. Everybody's more optimistic about 2011 than 2010. They're being conservative because you can see that people are still not really focused on pushing fees up. People are still focused on cutting expenses. So I think the drivers of 2010 are really shifting over to 2011 is what we've seen in the survey, with a cautious level of optimism about what might happen in time.
Right. While the overall outlook is not as dreary as we have seen in prior years, the industry is still pushing against some brisk headwinds. For example, more contractors expect the construction market to shrink in 2011 than expect it to grow. Contractors are most pessimistic about the private office market, where 56% expect activity to decline, followed by the retail, warehouse, and lodging market, where 52% expect less activity. Contractors are most optimistic about the hospital and higher education market, where 32% expect growth, and the power market, where 29% expect growth. Yet even here, there are more contractors anticipating shrinkage than growth. 36% in the hospital higher education market and 32% in the power. Contractors' low expectations may be driven by the fact most firms expect stimulus-funded construction activity will decline this year. Clear majorities of firms, ranging from 56% to 66%, expect stimulus funding in every market segment to decline in 2011. Meanwhile, only 30% of firms report they plan to perform stimulus-funded work this year, down from the 45% that reported performing stimulus-funded work in 2009 or 10.
As if the broader economic picture wasn't challenging enough for construction firms, they are now facing added pressure thanks to decisions being made or not made in Washington. For example, 71% of firms report their healthcare costs are expected to increase in the wake of the new healthcare legislation enacted last year. Shy of a full repeal, we certainly expect the House, Senate, and President will find a way to make a bad bill better for our employers and our economy. But one of the remarkable things about contractors is that they are eternal optimists. And even though they are struggling through difficult days, many are taking steps now to make their operations more efficient, to embrace new opportunities in green construction, and to adopt new technologies and techniques.
Shaving everything to the bone over the last 2 years, that now they're realizing that maybe the next phase in cutting costs is investing in the business and investing in better ways. With respect to the responses on building information modeling, it was an interesting statistic for me. Generally, I think it confirmed what we see in the industry, which is that people are using BIM, and people expect the use of BIM to grow. With respect to the integrated project delivery numbers, I think that what you're seeing there is, once again, what we talked about before, the fragmentation of the industry. IPD is used right now for larger, more complex projects, in the true IPD sense of the word. So you're seeing it on large healthcare projects. So that really touches only a small percentage of the overall very fragmented construction industry. And it's a little bit surprising to jump over to PPPs for a second. It's a little bit surprising maybe that hasn't happened, because it's a perfect way to get financing for projects that can't get financing. And as you know, especially at the state level, there is no financing for projects that people really want to do. The public votes, yes, let's do it, but then we can't get the financing together to get it done, especially when you're practically a bankrupt organization, as some of the municipalities are. So it would seem that PPP would be a perfect avenue to get some of this public work done, but even in that environment, you're not necessarily seeing an influx of new PPP projects.
We are hopeful this new Congress, combined with the administration's newfound appreciation of the business community, can finally start addressing our growing infrastructure liabilities.